Good evening and thanks for joining us. Few details are available in what appears to be a late-night incident on Wentworth Crescent. One person is dead, and witnesses report a man was taken away from a Wentworth Crescent home in arm and ankle cuffs Friday night. While police have confirmed an arrest took place at the residence, they say no criminal investigation is underway. According to neighbors, paramedics and firefighters arrived at the County Park home shortly after 10:30 last night. Police and later a crime scene unit followed. A body was taken from the home about 3 hours later. Police report the death is not suspicious, saying, quote, "People die all the time." Neighbors we spoke with on scene say it's not the first time police have been called to the home in what they describe as an otherwise peaceful neighborhood. Well, a disturbing new development in a Saskatchewan homicide investigation. A 6-year-old boy was beaten to death on a First Nation. Now it appears another young child may be responsible. Katie Nicholson has the latest.
It's a terrible twist in an already tragic story rocking a First Nation just east of Regina. It all started a week and a half ago. 6-year-old Lee Bonneau was last seen playing outside a recreation center with some dogs around 8:30 in the evening when his foster mother lost sight of him. He was found roughly 90 minutes later in a tree-lined area and was rushed to hospital in Broadview, Saskatchewan, where he was pronounced dead. Bonneau is described as a small child who blended in and was about to start grade 2. CBC has obtained an internal RCMP document that states the suspect in this case is another boy under the age of 12. Today, RCMP confirmed it. As the suspect is under 12, he is too young to be held criminally responsible. That means it's not possible to charge him with a crime. If it turns out the child is responsible, he would be one of the youngest killers in Canadian history. RCMP in Saskatchewan remain tight-lipped about this case, but they say more information is forthcoming. On Tuesday afternoon, there will be a joint press conference involving RCMP, Social Services, and the First Nation where this homicide took place. Katie Nicholson, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Well, for the first time since the late 1990s, residents of Terrace Bay are enjoying fun and games at a Carnival midway in the town. It's part of the town council's effort to bring more family entertainment to Terrace Bay. And by all early indications, town residents are very excited. Ryan Bonazzo stopped by this afternoon.
Everywhere you look, you see kids and families having fun. A great sight for Terrace Bay Special Events Coordinator Sean Irwin, who along with other town officials helped bring this Carnival midway back to the community.
We really want to attract families. We want to really boost our community with that. So we're trying to do new things. So we pitched the idea to Canuck to come back. And they said, sure, we'll try it out, and it looks like it's going quite well.
I think it's great. The city really went out of its way to do a good job in attracting things to interest kids this year. And it's been a rotten summer for the kids to get outside and go camping and that sort of thing. So to have this sort of facility here for the kids to play on for a last long weekend before they go back to school, I think it's fantastic.
Now, the weather hasn't been ideal. In fact, we just had a little bit of rain coming down just moments ago, but it has been 16 years since 1997, if you can believe it. That was the last time that Terrace Bay hosted a Carnival midway. So despite the weather, there are some excited people here on site.
It's awesome. The kids are loving it. It's great. It gives them the whole day to just go and keep going, and it's awesome.
We were laughing so much and we were squished together.
Yeah.
And it had to go swoosh, 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 and it was scary.
It was scary? But a fun scary, though?
Yeah. Yeah. I got to go squish and I was like, wow. I was squished in the sailor and it went round and around and around and around. And the first time I was scared, but then the second time I was like, whatever.
It's awesome. I was 15 the last time it was in town, so it's nice to see it come back. It's nice to be able to bring the kids in to see some of the rides that we rode as kids.
And hopefully residents won't have to wait another 16 years for the carnival to return. Irwin is hoping it becomes an annual Terrace Bay tradition.
We're hoping that our residents turn out, the visitors come up. We've seen a lot of faces from Marathon and Nipigon, so we're hoping we can bring them back, and every year there's an annual event.
That's no doubt music to the ears of these carnival goers. Ryan Bonazzo, TBT News.
Concerns and development updates were the topics of discussion for the North Shore delegations at last week's AMO conference in Ottawa. Municipal leaders from several communities along Lake Superior made the trip with hopes of getting their issues addressed and also finding some assistance. Jordan Milani has more.
A 22-year-long debate over the Marathon landfill may be finally coming to an end. Marathon Mayor Rick Dumas recently sat down with the Minister of the Environment to go over possible solutions which could involve a former industrial site involved in the sale of the community's idle pulp mill. Dumas says Green Investment Group Inc. will soon enter negotiations with the former owner Tembec and the ministry to iron out the details, which he hopes will see the company acquire several properties that are currently under Tembec's ownership, including a site north of town that could be redeveloped for the new landfill with 100 years of capacity.
And over the next several weeks, we're hoping early September will be the timelines that'll all be wrapped up and have some demos starting here at the mill. And as you can see from the key areas of the mill, I think majority of it will be demoed. There'll be some buildings that they've identified will probably stay remaining standing, and that could be some of the pulp storage area as well as the mill garages.
The township also has plans to acquire several properties in the transaction, including the current boat launch, with further plans to improve and develop the area for their residents. A delegation from Scriber brought forward concerns surrounding tax arrears and the loss of yet another commercial establishment in town. The Villa Bianca Inn and Restaurant closed its doors in late July, resulting in the loss of 16 more jobs and several businesses. Mayor Don MacArthur says their town continues to struggle.
The province right beside us, surrounding us with a very low tax rate, and the township of Terrace Bay has been very successful lately getting their mill back up and running, which has had some positive effects here in Scriber as well. That is really good, but it does make it difficult for us to compete on an equal financial footing with both the province of Ontario and the township of Terrace Bay. So we're hopeful we can get some help.
Policing costs were a major theme of the conference, according to Nipawin Mayor Richard Harvey. He says it's time to correct the system and find some way to balance the skyrocketing rates for communities throughout the province.
The majority of costs of a police force are not affected by how many calls you receive. They're administrative costs that are there, and therefore they need to be evenly shared amongst communities. When you've got some communities who are paying less than $100 per household for policing and others that are paying thousands of dollars, and 80% of the cost of your policing comes from set costs that are not affected by how many calls you receive, there's something wrong.
Harvey also stressed the importance of having boots on the ground in terms of M&R resources. The township of Terrace Bay expressed concerns to the Minister of Finance surrounding A.V. Burla's mill assessment appeal for 2013. Jordan Milani, TBT News.
A dozen Aboriginal youth gathered in Thunder Bay at the beginning of summer to start a brand new chapter in their lives. A program that's 8 weeks long trained them in various ways to become entrepreneurs. The government-funded program provides these students with the opportunity to learn and experience the creation of a business or social enterprise in their community. The 2-month training session was created all thanks to a partnership between Anishinaabeg Employment and Training Services and the Northwestern Ontario Innovation Centre. The students gathered this past week to present their projects and discuss future goals.
A lot of them found that maybe 8 weeks was a little tight to make their idea come to a reality, so we're going to continue to work with them. At the Northwestern Ontario Innovation Centre, anyone can come here with their ideas, and if it fits within our mandate, we'll help them, and we really want to support youth. So after this program is completed, if these youth want to continue to do their business, we're here to help them.
Some of the ideas from the students involved curling camps, short video documentaries, and healthy eating workshops for Aboriginals. Well, frontline police officers across Ontario will now be able to carry stun guns. For our question of the day, we wanted to know if you thought this would improve public safety.
I think any tool you can give protective services to make things a little safer, I think is better. I think it needs to be done and used in the appropriate manner, and if it's going to help make a safer environment for all of us, so be it.
The only thing they should be carrying are handcuffs, pepper spray, and a baton. Shouldn't be allowed to carry anything else.
I think it's better, at least then they have something other than deadly force to use. So perhaps that boy in Toronto would still be alive.
Controversy, I've heard about it. I would have to say no on that one too.
How come?
Because I don't agree with them. I agree with the old style.
I do not believe it will improve anything. All it will do is cause problems. It'll cause problems for the police force because they'll use the stun guns and people will sue. That's all it's going to do. It's going to cause problems.
Moviegoers in the Dryden area will need to find a new place to watch the newest blockbusters now that both the Sunset Drive-In and Cinema 86 movie theater will be closing up shop. The once popular drive-in was in operation during the summer of 2012, but it was unable to start up again due to this year's late spring. Now, more than halfway through the summer, Cinema 86, the city's lone movie theater, will also be closing its doors. David Burns-Prouty has run the two facilities for the past year. He'll now be taking time to reevaluate his options. The two facilities are still using 35mm projectors. Prouty calls this an aging technology that makes getting the newest films in a timely fashion a challenge. Despite the difficulties of the industry, Prouty hopes this won't be the end of his film career. He says the entire experience has been very rewarding.
I managed to step out of a few of my comfort zones, watching scary movies and things like that, which I've never usually ever watched, but the appreciation for them, just the scores that they have, like the music, the editing, it's just all pretty incredible when you see it all, when you get to see it consistently.
Prouty says he wants to thank the building clientele that supported both the theater and drive-in, adding there are already talks that the drive-in could be back in operation for next summer under new management.